Ladies, gamers, and gentlemen, welcome to Belnoir TV. You are watching Cast My Game Community Casts. My name is Belnoir. This is episode number 35. Getting pretty high there in the number of episodes, which is super nice. So, as always, we are going to be casting 3 replays that you guys submitted. If you want to submit a replay, you can do so by emailing it to belnoir@cesnam.cz with the title Cast My Game, all in caps. This is very important because otherwise the spam filter will get a hold of your email, snatch it, and delete it. And I will never get to see the replay. Always we select 3 replays at random. We cast them. The only condition being that the replays have to be master level versus master level 1v1s between 10 and 30 minutes long. That is game time, not real time. So that we get those replays casted off in a timely manner, in a good fashion. So we're going to be kicking things off today with a replay featuring the former pro gamer recently making a comeback, but not really wanting to be a professional gamer anymore, just playing Heart of the Swarm and just, messing around. Former alternate attacks player aTnDarKFoRcE. And we are going to load up that replay in a moment. This is going to be versus Combat Wombat's bArtH. And the map is going to be Belshire Vestige. Following this, we'll be having a ZVZ, ROOTfylling versus CrypticSaint, and then we'll be closing out today's show with a TVP on Belshire Vestige. Actually, all 3 maps are Belshire Vestige, which is going to make things interesting. The last game is going to be a TVP of Weiman versus MagicGrass on the same map. So let's load up the first replay here. I will just turn on the music in game. Oh my god, it's a previous version of StarCraft. Thank you very much. pretty old replay. I hate when people do this. Anyways, welcome everybody tuning in. Always nice to see people watching, even if there is so few of you. Makes me kind of feel that I'm not doing this just, for nobody at all. Okay, so going into the game, in the top left location we have former alternate attack, you could say AAA player. It is going to be the red Zerg player aTnDarKFoRcE, and in the bottom we have the blue Protoss player from Team Combat Wombats. It is going to be bArtH. And bArtH looks like he's going to be going for a Forge Fast expand here, putting the pylon on the low ground and going to scout straight away. Now, even if aTnDarKFoRcE does not scout, and why I say scout, because it is fairly important for Zerg players nowadays in Heart of the Swarm to know if their Protoss opponent is opening up with a Forge or with a Gateway, because that influences a lot of things, not the least of them being the timing of the 3rd base and the timing of the gas. That one is the most important. Now, even if he doesn't scout, just the timing of the scouting with this probe is going to tell him that this is probably going to be a Forge opening, and that is because usually Protosses don't scout when they're opening up with a Gateway, at least not this early. And that is because with a Gateway opening you feel a lot more safer. You don't have to scout straight away. So aTnDarKFoRcE pretty much will be looking to put down this hatchery here and then take a fairly quick 3rd, probably. Maybe he will get a gas in between of those 2 steps, but will probably just mine 100 gas off of that extractor and then pull back the drones to mining minerals yet again. Nice job here by bArtH. Actually denying the base for a fairly long amount of time. This gives him approximately 15 seconds a head start on his expansion, and well, that's 15 seconds. That's one more probe that you can squeeze out when your Nexus is faster than your opponent's. First 2 sets of Zerglings will be produced here by aTnDarKFoRcE. bArtH will be getting his cannon up, actually getting a second pylon here, and a gateway before getting a cannon. Well, this could be a mistake. bArtH, of course, does have the option that he can wall off the front entirely in case he sees Zerglings coming, which they are making their way immediately towards the natural base of the Protoss player, as that Overlord has seen the timing of the cannon. The cannon will probably not be done, and those Zerglings could run past. 1 or 2 of them would pay the price of their lives, but definitely could get some scouting in. Let's see if aTnDarKFoRcE will attempt that run by. Oh, the Zerglings are coming in. They do run past. 1 Zergling dies, but this will give him very crucial scouting information for the next couple of minutes. Just has to be careful not to lose those Zerglings and keep them alive for as long as possible, even denying the mining from the natural expansion, threatening to pick off a probe here or there. Meanwhile, on the Zerg side of things, aTnDarKFoRcE is getting a 3rd base and continuing to drone like crazy. And, you know, he can do so. He can do so no problem, because he feels fairly safe. He pretty much has the run of things right now. He knows exactly what his opponent is doing. He's got full scouting of his main base, the number of assimilators, number of each individual structures. Not getting a probe kill so far, so good on bArtH for being able to keep those probes out of the range of those Zerglings. Even killing 1 Zergling in the process. And that 1 probe, that's the luckiest probe in the world. This one right here, always popping into that assimilator just when the Zerglings were about to target it down. Wow, what a lucky probe. As a result, that's a net loss for aTnDarKFoRcE, which looks to be an advantage turned very rapidly into a disadvantage. So aTnDarKFoRcE getting down his double gases. bArtH continuing his correction with a Stalker. Probably will be getting a second one or a Mothership Core, and try to push his opponent a little bit, following this up with a Stargate. Now around this time, or at around 7-minute mark, aTnDarKFoRcE should be looking to scout the Protoss base and see if there's a Robo coming down, or a Stargate, or a Twilight, or what. So far he's not opting to do that, as the Protoss forces are moving across the map. Gonna be probably intercepted by these Zerglings. No, the Zerglings don't activate the watchtower just in time, but the Zod is being spotted by the Creep and the Queen. And, well, this is gonna be taken care of in a quick fashion. Speed is being queued up for the Zerg player, and, well, this Stalker probably will get away if bArtH pays attention and actually micros it so that the Zerglings cannot get us around, which is certainly what aTnDarKFoRcE will try to go for here. The Stalker has a movement speed of 2.95, and the Zerglings have the exact same movement speed, but if that Stalker jukes around some terrain feature while rounding up a corner, it could get surrounded. Did not happen though, and, well, bArtH is following this up with a Robo facility. Nothing was scouted just yet by aTnDarKFoRcE, which is really interesting that he's only just now scouting the main base. And we already have 2 Phoenixes out from that Stargate. aTnDarKFoRcE probably will end up seeing them. No, bArtH really careful about that. Keeping those Phoenixes hidden while taking a 3rd base and adding on a bunch of gateways, even having a Twilight Council. Was that Twilight Council spotted? I don't think it was. No, it wasn't. So aTnDarKFoRcE is basically playing completely blind and doesn't really know what he should be following this up with. As a result, he's going the safe route, which is he's gonna get some roaches out, some upgrades for them. Oh, did aTnDarKFoRcE see those Phoenixes? I don't think he did. bArtH is going to be getting 5 Phoenixes total and start picking off those Queens. 3rd base was discovered here by the Zerg player, and aTnDarKFoRcE is going with a Roach Hider composition, getting his +1 attack upgrades, Glial Reconstitution, and these 12 drones will probably be the last set of drones that aTnDarKFoRcE will be getting, as he is up to to 63, well, almost 70 were it not for these Phoenix skills. Could get that Overlord. A little bit sloppy there. Oh, but he will get 3 now, so he will make up for it. Observer is going to be making its way inside the Zerg base as we see the Robo support bay going down, because, you know, the usual response to seeing Phoenixes is either Infestors or more likely Hydras in Heart of the Swarm, and, well, Colossi pretty good versus Hydras. Twilight Council is down as well, which means Blink and +2 potentially might be queued up. There we go, +2 queued up for the ground army of the Protoss player, and DarkFoRcE just going to be continuing to mass his units. No infestation pit going down anywhere. Has ambitions of taking a 4th base around here, and so far he will end up taking that uncontested. Zerglings moving there just to safeguard the drone in case there's a Zealot waiting, or a proxy pylon, or a probe, or something. And, well, Second Forge just about to finish up for bArtH, so he is going to be moving into double upgrades. Nice move there, more gateways being added on. A couple more cannons would be nice to put around this 3rd base, but so far bArtH, interestingly enough, is leading in the probe count. He is fully saturated almost on 3 bases, and there is no need for him to add on any additional probes. Let's see, the muscular augments are not yet completed, but at the same time, no Colossus out on the field yet, which pretty much means these Hydras are going to be super effective versus this Gateway army, and bArtH has to be really careful about engaging this. He needs to buy time for those Colossi to pop out. He will need at least 1 or 2, probably 2, would be a better bet to counter the composition of the Zerg player. Roach is now being added on into the Zerg army, as DarkFoRcE is threatening to start poking at this 3rd base, but there's a good wall off. The Zerglings will have a lot of trouble getting in. Force field's going down. What the shit is this, bArtH? What kind of a force field is that? That will not be useful anytime soon, but yeah, those Hydras are being zoned out, and the Colossus, even without range, is being able to do some damage. Roach is coming from behind, though. Nice flank by DarkFoRcE, and he might take out that Colossus. No, bArtH microing, too good for that to happen, but this 3rd Nexus might go down, and that will be a huge blow to the economy of the Protoss player, especially considering that the 4th base for the Zerg player just now finished and is going to be up and operational very, very quickly. Phoenix is doing a good job of picking off the remaining Hydras. Nexus being replanted immediately here, and DarkFoRcE sees that. He does have the infestation pit down now, however, and that will allow him to transition into Hive Tech while bArtH is vulnerable. Pretty much he has to push now, but instead he is going to be teching, adding on more gateways and waiting for this Nexus to finish. He might elect to push regardless, just to make sure that Nexus goes up, but more and more Roaches are streaming in. What are the upgrades? It is still +2 versus +1, so the Protoss army does have a slight advantage in this regard, but no sentries will make this army very, very, very vulnerable. Roaches are very durable. We have very few Immortals with this army. In fact, we have none and only 3 sentries. Well, bArtH will have to wait for those sentries to accumulate enough energy before he decides to push. Every Colossus army basically relies on force fields to manage the movements and positioning of opponent's army. If you don't have force fields available with this small army in the early game and mid game, you're not going to win any fights just because you will get surrounded. DarkFoRcE right now moving into the swarm hosts, still adding on more and more Roaches, realizing what an advantage he's got here. 3 Colossi, probably all 3 of them will go down. This is what I talked about earlier. No force fields, you get flanked, you get surrounded, you will have a superior concave, and you will do tremendous amounts of damage. But it looks like the upgrades are helping bArtH considerably here so far, as he is +2, +1, and well, only 1 Colossus did go down. Actually, none did go down. He still retains the Colossus count. And, well, right now, DarkFoRcE is in a little bit of a bind. He lost all of his roaches. He needs to remake those. He doesn't have the swarm hosts out yet. And he is going to lose his 4th base, immediately respawning by planting a hatchery over here, but as I said, no swarm hosts, and Roach Hydra without corruptors is going to die to this. If this army was, if aTnDarKFoRcE was maxed at the time of his attack in the previous engagement, he might have gotten a better trade, a way better trade off of there, but unfortunately it did not happen. Another engagement in the middle of the map, and this time the Protoss player does have the upper hand. Zerglings get fried like fresh hamburgers in McDonald's, and the roaches are being chased away. bArtH even finding a good space in the game to put down this expansion. Phoenix is scouting out the 4th. bArtH might be going for it and gunning for that expansion and prepared to take that down. And aTnDarKFoRcE, well, right now he needs all the time he can get to get up his swarm hosts. Even if he even decides to go that route, he only gets 1 swarm host so far. 3 Vipers. Those Vipers might be very crucial here for aTnDarKFoRcE, as if he manages to abduct all 4 of those Colossi, well, you would kind of need a 4th Viper for that, right? Ideally. But if he manages to abduct a lot of those Colossi without getting those Vipers fed back by the Templars, then he might be able to do something here with the remainder of his army. Food supplies showing 120 versus 117 in army supplies, and a pretty healthy drone count and probe count for both. The base has been taken out there on the far right side and on the far left side simultaneously, and this will probably trigger an attack by aTnDarKFoRcE. He could afford to remake both of those hatches right now. He is maxed, so no reason not to do that, but he is losing the 3rd base in the process, and it will narrowly go down before those Zealots are taken care of, and this puts the Zerg player pretty much into an all-in position, as he has to attack at this point, because the Protoss player does have a big army stationed around his 4th base, safeguarding it versus any kind of attack, and aTnDarKFoRcE, his mining will be very, very low. He is distance mining right now, and he is at 65 drones, which means that, well, he can maintain at least a semblance of income. But alright, here we go. Very bad angle for aTnDarKFoRcE to engage in. He needs to burrow those swarmos and spawn locusts ASAP, and the abducts are going to be the crucial thing here. Not very many locusts though, and not very many swarm hosts. And he's even, wow, only... Okay, so this guy here, that's the scouting swarm host. He's just spawning locusts to scout. Okay, there we go. Spawning the rest of them right now, and bArtH, when he sees the locust numbers, he might just say, well, I'm not gonna go for this, but no, 3 Colossi get abducted. 4th one as well, all of them going down, but storms will save the day together with the force fields, or at least they should. More storms are still available. Those Templars could storm anytime soon, but bArtH very wisely saving those storms for a rainy day. Well, if that wasn't a pawn, I don't know what was. And he's going to be retreating to his 4th base for the time being, while he's going to be making sure that the 3rd base never gets up, and that his 4th stays alive for the time being. And right now, Phoenix is even proving to be very useful, trying to go after those Vipers, but no, will be taken out by the Corruptors. And bArtH remaking his Corruptor count, producing, a Colossus count, making 2 Colossi at a time. And aTnDarKFoRcE, well, he's just running out of resources here. He's all out of gas. He can't make any more Corruptors. He could flood with Zerglings, but no, not even gonna do that, as he sees his base being killed yet again and has to GG out of the game. So a very good, solid performance by bArtH, and on the other side, I'm really surprised that aTnDarKFoRcE played, I would say, poorly here. He was just outplayed in most respects, which is really surprising considering his history. He was one of the top European Zergs during his prime, and It's sad to see, but you know, this, I don't know how old this replay is. It might be from a time where when DarkFoRcE actually only just started playing StarCraft again, so probably a lot, you know, very very rusty in these games. And right now he's a grandmaster, so probably he improved quite a lot. But as I said, this game is a pretty old one as far as I can remember. Hello there, Spectra. Alright, gonna go and jump into... the second replay. And I don't agree that DarkFoRcE never was good. Remember, in the first season, or the first WCS ever, almost 2 years back actually, before he retired, he came in third in the German nationals, as far as I know. And he only narrowly did not qualify for the European WCS finals. Grubby did, though. Nerchio did as well as Zake, who beat Hesuobs in the finals, which was really surprising. Everybody thought that Hesu is going to win, but Zake was like, one gate expand, no problem. And this was in Wings of Liberty still, so one gate expansion in a PvP. Pretty ballsy, but he managed to pull it off. Alright, next replay is going to be ROOTfylling versus CrypticSaint. And again, an older version of StarCraft. So going to have to restart the game once again. Oh, so he was at the finals. Alright. Yeah, at least you can see how bad my memory is. Nevertheless, jumping into the game, we see in the bottom right, spawning as the red Zerg, it is going to be ROOTfylling, or filing. I'm just gonna call him filling. And in the top left location, it's going to be from the Gentleman's Club, CrypticSaint, aka Bleza. And you know, just having all three replays today on the same map, but different matchups, it's kind of cool, I'd have to say, because it will show very different things, different usage of terrain. I always say that Belshir Vestige is one of the more difficult maps to play on because of how fractured the terrain is on the map. The constant alternating of high ground and low ground, and you know, the danger of your army splitting up into two groups involuntarily if you're not being careful. So we don't see any early pulls going down so far, and you know, I have to say that a hatch first on this map is very common, but no, CrypticSaint going to go with a safer build, putting down that pool. His opponent, though, he's gonna go with a 15 hatch here, even 16 hatch. So playing very aggressively on the economic front, on the econ side of things, really wants to get a huge advantage, and gonna be following this up with a gas and a pool of his own. Whereas CrypticSaint gonna be putting down his hatchery, and he will follow that one up with gas, with an extractor. There we go, as the extractor comes down. Now the difference in gas will not be that great between these two players. Probably something like 30 gas. And wow, ROOTfylling actually mining the gas with only 2 drones and getting an evolution chamber and a spawning pool at the same time. So a spawning pool a little bit delayed. He will have a little bit less gas. This has to be a very special build, I'd say. So let's see how that plays out. Meanwhile, full scout for filling. Except the gas, of course, but he's feeling pretty safe with his own speed. Gonna be starting up shortly here. I wonder, though, what that evolution chamber is for. I mean, if he wants to go quick... Alright, so it's probably going to go quick baneling or quick speedling timing here. And that +1 attack on those Zerglings will help quite a lot. This will delay his speed, though, by a minor amount. And, you know, considering that his gas was a little bit sooner than his opponents, he can afford to do this. Sort of can afford to do this. And still be fine. So, Baneling Nest coming down for CrypticSaint. And it doesn't look like a Baneling Nest will be coming down for filling anytime soon. He does have the 100 gas though, so he is starting his speed, and he's going to be going for a huge link bust. Or it looks that way to me anyways. The problem is that CrypticSaint, he's gonna have speed much faster than his opponent, just because filling queued up that +1 melee attacks in that Evo chamber before queuing up the speed. Otherwise, this would have worked out a little bit better, in my opinion. But it's going to line up anyways. I mean, the speed is going to be later than Saint's, but it should finish not so long after the +1 finishes on the Zerglings. And after a couple more drones, I think a mass link production will be started here for ROOTfylling. Double Evo chambers going down for CrypticSaint on the other side of the map. Let's look what he saw actually. Yes, he did see that Evo chamber, did see it working, and did see the drone count. Excuse me there. And on the root side of things, well, he's playing completely blind. So he is kind of counting on this attack doing a lot of damage. He's producing a lot of Zerglings right now. Still has larva just now popped. Let's see, yeah, 6 more Zerglings queued up, and he could queue up more. I don't know why he's not doing that. This is okay. So what looked to be a timing is becoming kind of a disjointed build, I'd say. And with those banelings, if those banelings finish, I think that CrypticSaint will have a very easy time defending this. He even has the ling advantage here. 20 lings in production, lair going up for ROOTfylling. He does have a leg up on that lair timing, approximately 40 seconds compared to his opponent. I think. Yeah, 30 seconds. So a little bit of a skirmish here on the map between those lings. Those banelings will be staying back home. 2 are actually enough, and I would have liked 2 of those banelings to be on top of that ramp, because, you know, if those lings ever run past, you want to have those lings on those banelings on top of the ramp. 2 banelings will take care of any number of Zerglings that would run past. And it looks like CrypticSaint is getting a huge lead in units lost and army supply right now, having lost almost half of what his opponent did. And the army supplies are almost identical, and ROOTfylling going to be transitioning out of this into Ling Roach play, getting +1 for his roaches with the carapace finishing, but CrypticSaint already has the advantage. He's already getting +2/+2, and if this game goes for a little bit longer time, he will have a huge advantage on the field of battle just by having those Zerglings to be way more efficient than his opponents. Interestingly enough, no lair tag from either side, apart from those 2/2 upgrades on CrypticSaint's side. No Spire, no Infestation Plate, no nothing. And, you know, with that double evolution chamber, I would not be surprised in the least if CrypticSaint would go for an Infestation Pit into a rather fast hive get those infestors, get those ultralisks out, and just try to end the game from there. He did get a cancel on the third base though, so that's a big boon for him. And is maintaining map control, but oh my god, look at the number of links here for CrypticSaint and a number of banelings. The army supply is heavily in favor of ROOTfylling though, and Filling does have most of it in roaches. Posturing defensively, he really wants this third base. CrypticSaint going to get his. That is scouted immediately, and oh my god, the banelings are in the back. They cannot get at the links of CrypticSaint. They do now, but very inefficient trades for ROOTfylling here, as CrypticSaint still retaining a very high link count and will start to eat away at those roaches. Reinforcements are coming in, but that's only 7 roaches and more links. 20 more links will be streaming across the map very, very quickly here. Filling in a lot of trouble currently. This will be fended off, and he does have the defender's advantage, but the third base might be denied. Look at the number of links coming over right now. 2-2 will be finishing momentarily here, and that will provide a huge upgrade advantage towards CrypticSaint's army. He's trying to go from the top again, maintaining high ground vision. He sees the number of roaches, gets the surround, and will kill those off, very assuredly so. Boom, 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 as the roaches are splattering their guts on the ground, and the third base probably will have to be cancelled, especially with more reinforcements coming in, cutting off the defensive reinforcements of ROOTfylling coming from the natural base. And yet again, the roaches will be taken out. Filling trying to do best engages and best exchanges as possible under the circumstances, always hugging the wall with his roaches. But more and more link reinforcements. Look at this. This is just like a non-stop link production from CrypticSaint, and he's just rallying them over the map continuously. Finally deciding to give up on his ambition to cancel a third base. And still, we don't have any infestation pit, we don't have a hive on the way, we have nothing, but we have the third base for him. So, on the economy side of things, we are pretty much even, as CrypticSaint is going for another go at it. Instant reaction on the pullback on those roaches from Filling, as he does fend those links away, and they will have to pull back for the time being, because this many banelings can definitely do a number on these links, especially since they are damaged. And you know, if that infestation pit was down a little bit sooner, things might have been a lot different here. As it is, Saint will have to defend this push, but he does have the upgrade advantage. The banelings don't get the connections that they needed, and CrypticSaint's own banelings are chasing the banelings of ROOTfylling. ROOTfylling not turning around with those roaches. He can actually blow up on the roaches. Oh my goodness, such a great explosion here from CrypticSaint, and he will clean this up, no problem. And with the infestation pit finished, hive is queued up. No Hydra then on ROOTfylling's side. No infestation pit neither. No Spire, no nothing. So that means he's pretty much stuck on 1-1-1 upgrades for the time being. I would like him to queue up 2-2, but he can't really do that because right now he has to be remaxing on his army, and if he doesn't, he'll be dead. If he does produce units, he will stay alive, but he will fall behind even further in tech, even further in upgrades. And despite the economy being relatively even here, we can already see that CrypticSaint is mining a lot more gas than his opponent. Hundreds to 150 more gas, as there are no extractors here at the third base of Filling. Does have a sort of a good spread of overlords, or at least in crucial positions. He does know about these zerglings in the center of the map. Going to be covering all avenues of attack here and here with this one overlord. And he does know about the third base. Three upgrades queued up, finally. And the Ultralisk Cavern coming down as well. This is what CrypticSaint This is the position CrypticSaint wanted to get to. From the start of the game, this was his plan. 2 upgrades queued up finally for filling here. He's going to be getting the carapace and missile attacks, and he's going to be sticking to roaches. As I said, no Hydra then being put down, and I have to label that as a mistake. Hydralisks have a lot of DPS. I mean, yeah, Roach Baneling is pretty good. Speed Roach, Speed Bane versus Lings and Hydras, but only as long as your opponent does not have Infestors, which I have to say there are none on the field so far. The third base is going to go down for filling as he is attacking. Oh my god, are they going to seriously base raid right now? The third base killed for CrypticSaint. Those drones! Why are the... Okay, he's saving the Banelings for later. The Lings are having to pull back. Ultralisks are about to start popping out though, even from this larva right here. Will this be enough though? And will they survive before they are massed together? Nice positioning here by Saint. Does lose a lot of his Lings though, and cannot approach with the Lings from the back. Right now, what the hell was that detonation? Did he just blow up the Banelings on his own roaches? Okay, did I see what I see just now? Chat? Did he blow up? Did he... seriously, I have to rewind this. Because this is kind of... Okay. Should be around here. Okay, let's watch this in slow motion, because he's got a... Filling has a whole bunch of Banelings here, right? Okay, the Lings are coming in. Take a lot of hits here from the Banelings. Half of them go down, but still a lot of Banelings remaining. And those roaches are holding those... Okay, so it didn't blow them up. That Ultralisk actually killed them. What a funny thing to have happened to you, as I said. I almost thought for a second that he manually just like detonated them, and I was like, what? Why would you do that? Alright, the roaches are gonna pull back, and Cryptic finally getting a huge advantage here in this game after a back and forth ZVZ battles all over the place. He will be probably remaking the space, and I wouldn't put it past him to try and double expand right now, seeing as his opponent does not have a third base of his own. And with those Ultralisks, how many does he have remaining? 6 Ultras on the field. He has Lings as well. Well, he might be thinking about pushing into here. There's only 2 spines. 1 control tab of roaches. Well, that might be a problem here, but not... I don't know. Might be a good exchange here for Saint, but he needs a little bit more Lings, I think. Adrenal glands, my favorite upgrade, being queued up right now, as I forgot to change the overlay. And yep, another expansion going down for CrypticSaint, just as I thought. And filling, he sees that this base is almost back up, so he's looking to deny it yet again. And Saint, well, he doesn't have any idea of where the army of his opponent is. He doesn't have the best Overlord spread, I have to say. But he does now, and he is going to give chase to these roaches. But just a little bit. Waiting for more Ultralisks to spawn, and more Lings as well. Needs to get a good surround here. This is where the numbers come into play. With these number of roaches, well, they have a lot of DPS potential and a lot of beef to them. And they could start sniping off those Ultralisks, because they are actually pretty fast units compared to the Ultralisks. And whenever that Death Bowl from CrypticSaint closes in, they can just snipe one Ultra, run away. And then snipe another one and run away. this big ball of roaches, it can't even get surrounded by the lings. He's trying to go in right now, trying to kill as much stuff as possible, microing the herd roaches back, trying to target down the ultras, not really getting it, and finally losing the majority of that army. Let's see the unit counts though. 13 roaches still on the field, and on CrypticSaint side, only 3 ultras, and well, what looks to be 8 lings. It's gonna be adding on more ultralisks though, and you know, I don't know, if Filling had more money, if he had more money, or not lose as many roaches, he could take out those 3 ultras, I feel like. And the upgrades are helping out CrypticSaint tremendously in those engagements as well, with plus 3 carapace on those ultralisks, and chitinous plating as well. He's going to be taking those engagements, very favorable exchanges for him. Immediate cancel on the 3rd base, nice move there, and well, Filling, he's trying to... He's been pulling the shorter end of the stick for the last couple of minutes, and never actually remade the 3rd base. He kind of... I don't know if he knows about the other expansion, probably doesn't. So, he may be thinking, well, my opponent is on 2 bases as well, I'm in a good spot, but in reality, he's way worse off than he thinks he is. He's gonna be mined out very soon, and when that happens, he's probably going to have to GG. And right now, yeah, now he's thinking, well, maybe he's got a base there. So he's gonna try and take that one out, and well, is Saint actually gonna let him take that out? Is he just going to surrender the base? Probably he is. He sees the distance mining from the drones, so he knows the 3rd base is not yet up. And frankly, this Overlord was so invaluable to Filling. Again, Ultralisks, they don't want to fight in chokes, they want to fight out in the open. Look how those roaches are kiting them though. Sniping them one by one. That's almost 2 ultras going down. Has to be careful though. Those roaches are pretty bunched up. They don't want to get close anywhere near those ultras, trust me. They would like to kill this one in the back, but... well, will they actually manage to do it? Oh, they do! CrypticSaint not paying attention for a second there, and losing a very expensive unit as a result. More roaches trying to be remade here by Filling, and you know, frankly, both players right now are running off steams. They're running on vapors. Oh, the roach is getting cornered! Oh my god! This is exactly the kind of thing that CrypticSaint wanted to have happened to him. Still has 3 Ultralisks on the field, 2 more on the way, as well as a couple of Zerglings. You know, these players don't have any mining to speak of. 100 minerals a minute for Filling and 340 for Saint. The army supplies are showing 32 versus 39. And oh my goodness. This game is going to be suddenly very, very, very close. Nope. Does get that drone before it dies. But right now, CrypticSaint is barreling down the front door of the ROOTfylling. Will he have the courage? Will he have the audacity to push in with just 5 ultras? Gotta have a very good micro here, because ultralisks are kind of difficult to manage. And he's gotta be pulling back the herd once the whole time. Those roaches, they are only 2-2, but enough in numbers so that they could snipe those ultras off. Nice move here! Blocking the roaches from retreating, and that forces out the GG well played from Filling as Saint takes the game. Well played, sir. Well played. What a very close game. Alright, let's go into the last game. That one is going to be... let's see here. Weiman versus MagicGrass. And this one is going to be a TVP. Alright, jumping into the game, we see again that the map is going to be Belshire Vestige. This time a TVP matchup. Weiman, a ordinary person, but a very extraordinary photographer, playing Terran pieces in a red, spawning in the bottom right and in the top left. We have MagicGrass from Team HTT. I don't know what that team is, by the way, but yeah. Gonna be the blue Protoss in the top left. Why I say Weiman is an extraordinary photographer? Well, because I don't know if he actually takes pictures of something other than anime cosplays, but he's got a lot of photographs, a lot of pictures of awesome costumes from various anime cons that he attended. I'm going to be opening this up very ordinarily with a barracks into a gas. That's a 12 gas as far as I can see, so probably going to be opening up with a Reaper. Should time in a way so that he will have 50 gas just when the barracks finishes, or very, very shortly after. This probe is going to get inside the base, being a little bit careful, because this is just about the time when the probe can get locked inside the base just by the Terran player, just by building a supply depot there. It did see the gas though, so that's all the scouting that the Protoss player needs, at least for the time being. 50 gas, Reaper, bam, there we go. Protoss player just has only taken 1 gas so far, so not going to be a double gas expansion. And thinking about queuing up that Zealot, not really queuing it up. You know, usually, there we go, Zealot queued up. Usually what we see, this is what I call a cancel lot. It's not a Zealot, it's a cancel lot. Because you just queue that up, and if there is no SCV inside of your natural base or no engineering block going on, you just cancel the Zealot to get that Nexus up immediately. And this is exactly what we saw the Protoss player just now do. Weiman, he's going to be scouting with the Reaper, and meantime, getting a reactor onto the barracks, a second command center, and probably will be following this up with an engineering bay, second barracks, a tech lab onto that, and a factory taking additional gases as he goes along. This is a very safe build for the Terran player to do, as he does get map control and scouting with the Reaper. Mothership core in position though to intercept that. And basically what Weiman wants to see here is the number of gas mined and any tech that might have gone down. Has to be careful though not to lose that Reaper. That's going to be very crucial later on in this game. At around 7-minute mark, he will want to re-scout the main base of the Protoss player and see what he's up to. As we can see, Robo facility being put down by MagicGrass. That is fairly standard because you just want to have that down in case of Widow Mine drops, because you want that detection. And the first unit out of the gateway is actually only a second unit, excuse me, is going to be the sentry, probably going to be saving up those minerals a little bit and putting down additional structures, either at double forge or double gateways, to bring himself up to 3 gateway counts. And well, Weiman is pretty much continuing in a different route that I suspected. He's going to be going for that Widow Mine drop, getting a starport behind this very quickly. Now this pretty much means that, you know, whenever you scout something like this as a Protoss player, you're going to be like, alright, fine, I don't need to make units. I only need enough units to defend the Widow Mine drop, and I need to have the detection. That's all I need to have, because Stim is not going to be finished anytime soon. As we can see, only just now the additional barracks are being added on. No tech labs anywhere in sight. And, you know, Weiman does have the option, though, to go in with the Marines as well. Try to poke with the Marines while he drops the Widow Mines somewhere else. Or load up the Marines and the Widow Mines into the medevac and drop at once, so that the Marines provide protection to those Widow Mines. Yep, I think... Well, no, actually, the Observer is not yet inside the Terran base. But, nevertheless, 1 forge, 1 robotic bay, 3 gateways, a pretty standard setup here for MagicGrass, as he's going in to scout what is going on. And, well, he sees that starport, and just by the timing, he has to go like, wait a minute, this is a fairly early starport. That should not have been finished yet. Ordinarily, you know, with a standard build, that starport finishes at around 9 minutes, 9:30, 9:45, something like that. And this is fairly early here for the Terran player. Oh, Weiman spotting the Observer, getting it. Nice play there. This Observer on the other side of the map is going to spot the drop. What is the reaction going to be? Stalker's already in position. Weiman sees them, so not going to drop that 1 Widow Mine in. He might opt to just boost past those Stalkers and just sacrifice the Widow Mine, but that is a very risky thing to do, because more Stalkers could be waiting on the other side, or a Photon Overcharge might catch him off guard. He certainly tries to do it and almost lost the medevac. So he's going to be retreating right now. Stim is still about only halfway done. Still about 70 seconds away. So this should time just about with the +1 weapons finishing up, and that is the cue for the Terran player usually to move out. Weiman will have 3 to 4 medevacs, maybe even more, with this, and he'll just do the very standard push. He did get the 3rd command center before the additional barracks, though, so he's not playing this like a very heavy 2-base timing. He's playing this pretty much by the books, I have to say. And let's look at what MagicGrass is doing. He's immediately moving into Templar Archives, interestingly enough, getting Blink and +1 weapons after getting the +1 armor, but not getting Thermal Lances for his Colossi. So, I don't know. I mean, Blink is very useful to protect the Colossi from Viking snipes. It is useful, especially on this map, to protect your ass versus drops. Not as useful in combination with High Templars. So, you know, Charge is a little bit better in that circumstance, in my opinion, but ultimately it's a matter of planning and style, I'd say. 2 Colossi on the field, no range for them, still. Which means they are fairly vulnerable, and we only have 2 sentries here. The force fields will have to be perfect. And look at this, Weiman getting a good engagement here. Has to be careful not to overextend, and if I were him, I would start pulling back right now with the Photon Overcharge. Oh, he will get that 1 Colossus. That was a huge mistake by MagicGrass. Weiman taking a very favorable engagement here right now. And, you know, getting that Colossus, that's pretty much everything he wanted to do there. He's keeping an eye on the 3rd base as well. He knows it is not down yet. The storm is finishing, but I don't think we have any Templars. 2 Templars, okay. They do have energy for Storm, so that's good. But still, this is not... I mean, if you look at the army the Protoss has, this is not an army you can push out with yet. So he's going to have to play this defensively for the time being. That Storm, though, will make Weiman think twice about engaging. So he's going to be pulling back, securing his 3rd base, adding on more infrastructure and a 4th command center. This will probably be a planetary fortress once that gets floated over. And, well, some map control going to be asserted here by MagicGrass. As Weiman is, for the time being, playing relatively blind, actually playing completely blind. Both players continuing their upgrades, though. The Protoss getting +2/+2 as Weiman is getting +2/+1 for himself. So he's behind 1 upgrade, and that's another thing you want to... That's not a position you want to be in as a Terran player versus Protoss, especially with the Chrono Boost and whatnot, but I think Weiman has a little bit better production than the Protoss player. If we take a look at the food supplies, it's 80 versus 60 in army supply in favor of the Terran, and the worker supply is even, which puts Weiman ahead by default, just by him being Terran and having this. Yep. I'm not calling it OP, I'm not calling it imbalance, it's just the way it is. If you are on equal worker supply as a Protoss with the Terran player, and the Terran player has orbital commands, he is ahead in the economy. Now, this has a downside, of course. You are mining out your bases as a Terran player quicker than the Protoss is. So, if the game goes on sufficiently long, you will start running out of minerals if you're on equal bases with the Protoss player the majority of the time. And that's where some of the Terran players actually struggle. In the very, very, very late game. Of course, that would have to be like an hour-long game as well, but yeah. Will Weiman get a whiff of this observer that is directly on top of his army? Probably not. It is... It's not even visible that much because it is directly on top of his units. A couple of proxy pylons out on the map to guard against drops and also provide warpins for the Protoss player. That is really nice. There goes the scan, gets rid of the observer. Stoker's in position to start taking shots at those Vikings, but still this army is, I would say this army is rather small. The storms and force fields are going to be absolutely key here. 1 storm going down on a very small group of Marines. That blink forward was a huge mistake though, as that allows the Terran army to just go forward, and I think this was the last of the storms. No, this one was the last one. But look at the Terran player still retaining so much of his army. Not really hurt that much. Yeah, the storms did do a lot of damage, but did not kill off very many of those units. And Weiman continuing to pull back, continuing to split. 2 more storms available for the Protoss player. And Weiman going to be careful here, going to pull back for the time being. I think he's going to be content with just killing off those Colossi and not risk overextending himself. Just gonna pull back, very smart decision, wants to get this 4th base down. Going to be an orbital command, not a planetary fortress. A risky business here, I'd have to say. He'll have to have good map control to prevent any type of snipes. We do have a mothership core on the field, and it is at full energy, you know, so if harassment fails, what the Protoss player could do in the later stages of the game, as soon as he sees the Terran player being out of position, he goes in here, snipes the base, recalls back, and prepares for defense. This is a thing we usually see a lot more often lately. And do we... Oh my god, oh, there we go. Okay, there are the thermal lenses. I was kind of afraid that we still don't have them out on the field. Oh, is this the Reaper from the beginning of the game? Wow, buddy, you survived. What a surprise. You usually die a lot faster than at the 19-minute mark. And right now we have Mobius Reactor about to finish. Three Ghost Academies and nukes are queued up. Oh my god, 3 nukes. A lot of ghosts gonna go on the field. I really love the fact how Weiman is protective of his expansions. Having this bunker here together with the missile turret allows him to be pretty safe versus DTs, not having to waste scans. And, well, this Archon is proving to be troublesome though. But with the SCV repair, this should be no problem. Need to repair that bunker though. Oh, there goes the cloak. There's the nuke! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, the Protoss sees it. The Protoss sees this. He's pulling back. The nuke will land, damaging the Nexus. Protoss is trying to go around, but the ghosts are in position, EMPing all of the army. Only a 1 storm going off onto the bio. Vikings coming in from the back, sniping the Colossi. Excellent control from Weiman, as he is losing a lot of SCVs at the 4th base, but does it matter when he just killed off the majority of the Protoss army? He is going to be pushing forward. He's going to be extending his advantage. How many storms do we have ready? A couple. 3 storms at max from what I can see here. 1 does go down. 1 more. You need 1 or 2 more good storms, Protoss. There we go. Storming the rest of the bio and the medevacs. And is going to defend this for the time being. No more storms available though. These will have to become Archons. In the meantime, the 4th base has been taken out on the far right side for the Terran player, and the game is evening out a little bit. Let's take a look at the resources lost tab. It's pretty even, but we still should have 2 nukes here, and we have 14 ghosts. Yes, 14 ghosts out on the field. And Ghosts also doing a little bit of scouting business here, instead of just dropping nukes and EMPs. But oh my god, those EMPs were just so good for Weiman. Alright, so I really like the fact how MagicGrass is constantly trying to maintain map control. That's really good of him. Right now what I'm interested in though is the number of observers out on the map. Okay, so 1 is with the army, the other 1 is keeping an eye out for potential move-outs here. Does not want to get sniped though, has to be a little bit careful. And if we look at the total unit counts, it's basically nothing, almost nothing on the ground for Weiman currently. 15 Marines and 15 Ghosts. Yes, Ghosts are very useful, but oh my god, the Protoss player. Oh, he doesn't notice. Oh my goodness! Another nuke queued up. So many probes will go down. At the same time, a little bit of harassment with the Archon again, but oh my goodness. 2 more nukes and this Nexus is dead. But those probes, that was a huge hit, and one that Weiman needed, to be quite frank, because he did sustain big losses to his economy. 48 SCVs have been killed by the Protoss player with those storms and harassment before, and Dark Templars and what have you. 3 more nukes in production though. I think Weiman is going to be playing this in a style that I'm going to annoy the crap out of you, and you are going to GG out of frustration. Looks like MagicGrass is doing the same thing though, using DTs to achieve the same effect. Only 2 kills between the 2 of them, and Weiman queuing up another nuke. Even scanning will pick off the observer! Huge deal there, and even will get 1 Colossus. No, will not get the Colossus, but will damage the Nexus. There goes the Colossus! Nice storm drop from the War Prism there, but those ghosts are not seen. There's no detection here for the Protoss player, I don't think. Where's the observer? No, nowhere! Those ghosts pretty much have the reign of the battlefield right now. More nukes going off onto the Nexus, and these ghosts could actually pick off the remainder of the army. More ghosts being sent towards the other expansions to nuke those as well. The Protoss player is still up 50 to 31 workers, but that advantage will diminish very rapidly, especially when this nuke does go off. Where are the observers? One is here, one is here. No observers to spot this ghost. Oh my. Oh my goodness. Weiman just all over the place with his special forces. Couple of feedbacks go down as well as storms, but still, a majority of the ghosts stay alive. We still have 11 on the field, still capable of cloaking, and 2 observers only. A Zealot observer squad will try to pick off the masked, cloaked assassins. Will they be successful? Probably not. As Weiman is pushing in for the win with a very small group of units, does eliminate all of the Zealots and 1 Colossus to boot. Maybe we'll get the Nexus, probably not. Going to boost away with those medevacs and reroute them, try to pick off this expansion. Still not able to land this command center though. But he does have mining going for him. 1, 2 orbital commands. That's double mules. Let's look at the income. It's fairly even here for both players. Colossus, you have to be careful. Okay, cool. 1 Colossus carrying away 2 medevacs and a group of units. MagicGrass, he's starting to hurt a little bit from that harassment and from those nukes, but doing a very good job of staying in the game, denying expansions, harassing constantly. You know, this is mostly due to the fact that Weiman never took out those proxy pylons here. He's going to get the Colossus now though, and probably the Stalker as well. And finally, will be able to land his command center here on the left side of the map after taking care of these pylons, taking out the DT in the process, and constantly scanning ahead, seeing what is on top of the ramp. Did not see the Templar though. There goes the Storm. 1. Will we see another one? No, Weiman takes out the Nexus, and MagicGrass just leaves the game. He's like, you know what, I can't keep up with this. I'm too frustrated. No, just no. It's not for me, this game. No. And I have to assume that MagicGrass was pretty pissed off. Very nice game. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Very funny one, especially with the nukes. I loved them. Right, so that's Cast My Game episode 35. And it's coming to an end. So what's going to be happening now, you may ask? Well, I'm going to eat. Then I have a probably a Skype conference call that I have to attend. And after that, I will be continuing to play Dota. So, if anyone wants to be joining on the fun, add me on Steam, Belnoir, and message me. So that's it. Gonna be shooting out, dashing off. Thank you very much for watching. As always, the VOD will be up on my YouTube somewhere during the night, and what's going to be coming up next on the stream in the coming days, let us see. Probably a aTnDarKFoRcE 2 on Sunday, and a couple of streams in between, but just private ones, no shows or anything. or no official casts of any events. Yeah, as far as I remember, that should be it. So, bye bye guys. Thanks for watching, and remember, storm first and ask questions later.